Well, hello and welcome to episode 5 of Life Downloaded, Sweaty Men and Cake. So in today's episode we have been talking about...
Lots of different things. We've been talking about, funnily enough, sweaty men and cake, but we've also been talking about more serious issues like unwanted contact when you're a disabled person. So just to warn you, we're chatting about that, but it's nothing too serious, but just, making you aware. It's been a good one. We've been talking about sweaty men and cake because on time of recording, this is the day after the sweltering bank holiday, and Bake Off starts tonight.
Bake Off! But I don't know whether I'll be watching, so tune in and to hear what I think about Bake Off.
It gets deep.
It does get deep. We'll be also talking about Little Lola, update of Little Lola.
Oh yeah,
We
your
will.
weekly Lola update.
And what we've been getting up to in our spare time.
Yeah, I might have cheated on Sam.
News to me.
Right guys, so this is episode 5, Sweaty Men and Cake. Straight after this musical interlude. Well, hey there everybody, guess what? It's time for episode 5.
You sounded very American then.
Did
well,
I?
hey there, everybody.
Well, there you go. I am Dan Edge, and I am, of course, sat here in Life Downloaded Towers, aka Sam's flat, for episode 5 of Life Downloaded. And of course, it wouldn't be an episode of Life Downloaded without the delectable, self-described Sam Rank. How are you doing, Sam?
Hello, Sam here. I'm alright. I'm sweating my boobies off. I'm not going to lie.
It is a bit warm.
If you can sweat your boobies off, I'm not sure whether that's physically possible,
No.
I'm sure I'll give it a good go. So yeah, I know we joke about naked podcasts, but today we might have to actually get naked because we are in my little flat. We do not have aircon, unfortunately, and because we have to lock the cat in another room, we can't open the front door because she'll escape. And then because of the lovely builders, we can't open the windows. So all in all, this might be the quickest podcast ever.
Indeed.
Because we are melting away.
Like ice cream out of the freezer for 10 minutes because...
Oh, don't mention ice cream. I really want an ice cream.
Who doesn't want ice cream?
Honestly.
But yeah, because it was the bank holiday weekend. We've just got over the bank holiday weekend at the time of recording. Today is the first Tuesday after the bank holiday weekend.
Oh, is it only Tuesday?
Yeah, it's only Tuesday.
Sad. Times.
So it was the warmest August bank holiday on record.
Oh, they always say that. I think they make this up. Every time it gets hot, it's the hottest day ever. And it's like, I think you said that last time.
Well, they didn't say it was the hottest day ever, but they said it's the hottest late August bank holiday we've ever had.
I don't know. I'm a bit dubious, to be honest.
I don't know, the amount of sweat that has come out of me in the last few days, it's quite possible.
I know, it's disgusting. And you find being sat in a wheelchair, it's kind of even worse. So I just went to the toilet just before we started recording.
Good prep, don't want to pee halfway through.
Good to get it out before you record.
Yeah.
And I got back into my chair and I literally couldn't pull my knickers up properly because with the stickiness from the leather chair and the sweaty underwear. It was something special.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a leather chair, right? I have like a Gore-Tex air type one, so probably got a little bit more air circulation, but the fact is that my back is quite often just soaking wet because...
Get naked.
Down. Only if you pay me and play decent music while I do it.
Pay you? My company is enough pay. It's better than any money, just being around me.
Well, it is a highlight of my week.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's blinking hot. Did you do anything exciting over the bank holiday weekend?
I did. I've been working. So I co-presented, but it's not even co because there was like 3 of us.
That's still co.
That's still co-presenting.
Yeah,
I thought co was like for 2. Or I just made that up?
I think co-presenting is just like...
It can be like 50 people.
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly.
So I co-presented a radio show called Badass Women.
Because of course you are.
I am a badass woman.
Yep.
Which is on Talk Radio. And it was Badass Radio XL. So it was from 7 till 10. Which is really strange for me because I am a morning person. I'm very used to getting up early, doing all my work, and then by midday, like... pretty much going, I'm pretty much done. And doing morning television, so you have to get up stupid early. So this was a bit of a reversal where I had to work till 10 o'clock. And I know for a lot of people that you're probably thinking that's not late. But when you're normally in bed by 10 o'clock, that's quite extreme. I was exhausted.
I'm sure you were. You see, I'm the other way around. Having done sort of theatre shows and wrestling shows, people like to come to stuff in the evening.
Yeah.
So I'm wired the other way. That would have been comfortable for me in an early morning start. I'm like, bleh.
I couldn't date anyone who's a night person, unfortunately. So again, I'm still single.
She's still single. She's still looking. Yeah. But night people.
But sorry. Night people, no. I'm sorry. Like morning, I need a morning person so we can go for a stroll or something like that.
Vampires, consider yourself discounted.
Sorry, guys. Sorry.
So that's cool.
Yeah.
For those that want to listen to Badass Women, do they have like a talk radio playery type thing?
So I think if you go on any of their social media, they've got, if you just look on Talk Radio, that's got all their series, all their shows, shall I say.
Okay.
But Twitter, it is at Badass Women. So you can check that out, and I will probably put a link on my social media anyway.
Go for it.
to the show, because it was a really good show. It was very interesting. We had some very powerful, influential, inspiring women, and I got to interview them. So it was fab, and I got a free book. Which is kind of cool, because when you have an author on the show, or someone promoting something, I didn't realise this. They send you all the free stuff. I think you're supposed to have read it beforehand.
That's kind of the thing, I think. So you know what you're talking about.
But actually, you only get handed it just before the show. So this is trade secret. I probably shouldn't be saying this, should I? But it was funny because I didn't realise that. And then when the author left, I went, I can't wait to start reading it. I was like, whoops. Probably shouldn't have said that.
Yeah.
But anyway, it was good. How about you, Dan Man?
Yeah, well, I have to make a confession.
Oh, Sam. God. Do I want to know?
I may have cheated on you a little bit.
What?
Yeah.
What?
I've been on another podcast.
Oh, how dare you? All right, so did I, so we're even. It's fine.
It's all coming out now.
It's all coming out.
No, I was recently on the Next Episode podcast from
Amazing.
The BBC.
Amazing.
Talking about accessible fashion.
Fab. Do you know what? I was supposed to do that too, and I couldn't because I was getting my tooth taken out.
Oh.
So I could have been on there with you.
See, we could have live downloaded tag teamed it. We could have.
I know, but I couldn't, unfortunately.
But
yeah, how did it go?
Yeah, it was really good. We talk about accessible fashion, and the guys at the BBC do I don't know if anybody listens to the Next Episode podcast. If you don't, it's kind of cool. It's only about sort of 15 minutes. It's only a short one.
Why aren't we doing that?
What, 15-minute
podcast?
podcast?
In and out. That's how I like it.
Hey, we're not going to make comment on that, Sam.
No, we're not.
But yeah, they do 15 minutes, and it's all edited with some music, and it's all kind of good. They use stuff from like the BBC introducing stage, but yeah. So we talked about accessible fashion for a bit. I talked about it from a bloke's perspective, because guess what? Blokes like to look good too.
Yeah, of course.
So yeah, it's worth a listen. Check it out.
And as a side note, a guy that I want to date needs to look good, as in know how to dress as well. So early morning people and good dressers. Just
okay, so
get that in there.
you're getting your like tick boxes, gents. If you're listening, dress well. I'm assuming they need to smell good.
Yes, and I'm very, very particular. So if I don't like it, so my hairstylist wears one, it's really expensive and I can't stand it, so he literally wears something different when he comes to cut my hair. Bless him.
At least you've had the conversation.
I know. I have. I'm like a pregnant woman, like it makes me quite nauseous. Nauseated or nauseous? I always get confused with them too. Anyway, doesn't matter. So I was on a podcast as well. So the celebrity kind of booker, showbiz editor, I think the term is, for talk radio, Johnny Seifert. I think it's Seifert, yeah. Sorry, Johnny.
Johnny, feel free to email us know.
Well, Johnny kept calling me Samantha Renke.
I
mean, Johnny, I don't really care if I didn't get your name right. Like, you know, karma's a bitch, basically. So Johnny has a podcast. And it is called It's Okay Not to Be Okay. So it's a lot about mental health.
Okay.
So, it's kind of a subject for me that I am very passionate about and I talk very openly about. So, so I'm glad that we've experienced other podcastees.
Yeah, so if you're not getting enough of our voices on Life Downloaded...
Of course you're not.
And you're like, I need more Sam and Dan in my life. Check out Badass Women.
Who doesn't?
Check out Johnny's podcast over on Talk Radio. Check out BBC Next Episode. They're on the iPlayers.
Do you think we're being too good to promote everyone else? I hope they're doing the same about us.
They should. BBC reckon? Next Episode.
If not, I'll be having words.
Talk
Johnny,
Radio. Sort it out. But no, have a listen. They do some good stuff. But don't cheat on us too often. Come back.
Oh, there goes the builders. You can hear them.
Yeah, the builders are still here.
Oh, lovely builders.
Are you still perving, Sam?
No, do you know what, though? I was really glad that for the whole bank holiday they didn't work. Normally they work on a Saturday, and they weren't there. So I was like, I was going to really swear them, but thank goodness.
We have an E-label swearing.
Yeah, I know, but it's not very ladylike, I suppose, is it? Well, what is ladylike anymore? I mean, there is another whole different story.
Indeed.
Yes. So it was quite nice because you don't realise that when you are in a surrounding where there's constant drills and loud noise, you zone out on quite a lot of it. But then when it's not there, you realise how much it actually impacts on your anxiety and your like well-being, because it's just intense. Anywho.
Did you have that moment though, like, because you've listened to it for so long, that because it was so quiet, you thought something was wrong?
Yeah, a little bit. On the Saturday, I was like, what? Huh? What? So they're back in full force, but I do feel for them today because it is blinking boiling.
Yeah.
And they've got to wear all their high-vis
and hard hats.
Yeah, God bless them.
No,
so maybe I could go over there in a bikini later and offer like some water.
I'm sure they would thoroughly enjoy that.
Hi boys. Hi. Right,
but do they dress well and smell well?
I don't know. I like a bit of sweat. I like smelling armpits.
Okay.
Like when, well, you won't know, but when like ladies, you'll agree, like men where they've got the natural odour. I don't think it works the same for women, but men, they've got like quite a nice odour when they sweat a little bit, and it's quite nice when they've got like, you just lay under their armpit. No? Anyone?
I'm feeling that I'm learning stuff right now.
Yeah.
Ladies, please feel free to tweet the Life Downloaded Twitter or Instagram.
I do. I like a bit of hair as well.
Well, you know.
Anyway, on to serious things.
Serious things?
Because we probably should talk about something that's quite more profound than sweaty builders.
I don't know. If you want us to talk about sweaty builders...
I know, tweet us, please.
You can tell we've had some time off and it's a bit more relaxed, can't you? It's like...
No, it's the heat. We're going absolutely deluded. That's what it is. So I write for the Metro.
You do?
And... my most recent Metro article was about inappropriate touching when you have a disability. Now, this came about basically because a Dr. Hannah Mason-Bish, who is a criminologist, she wanted to have a look at hate crime amongst women with disabilities. And obviously, hate crime in 2003... disability hate crime became recognised in 2003, but it kind of never really mentioned anything specific to do with women or those that identify as non-binary, specifically to them. Because obviously, like women do experience different forms of hate and violence. they're men. So she came up with this project. So it's called the Private Places, Public Spaces Research Project, and you can actually go online and have a look at that. So it's the Private Places, Public Spaces Research Project. I think they've got their own website. I think it's just them words. I should probably check this. But yeah, if you put that into a search engine, it will most definitely come up. And she invited women and non-binary people to share their experience of harassment. And it was quite staggering because she found that many of the women who took part in the research project experienced a variety of unwanted touching in public, and on a daily basis. This included grabbing, like poking, pushing, punching, and even like being dragged. And she came up with this in correlation with this concept called intersectionality. Now, intersectionality, it's a completely new word for me, but I actually got asked at a Red Cross event the other day how intersectionality influenced me. And basically what it means is that, so as a disabled person, I get prejudice and discrimination on a daily basis, but do my other identities, i.e. me being a woman, do I also see discrimination? And I never really thought about that. My disability or my disability identity had always taken over in my life, because that's how it affected my disability affected me on a daily basis. And actually thinking about it, being a woman on top of that meant that I faced different forms of prejudice. So have you heard of intersectionality, Dan?
I'm trying to think. I possibly have, but at the same time, I am big into the disabled community and that sort of section, but at the same time, I'm a white straight male, so I won't have intersectionality because of my race necessarily.
Yeah.
It's not to say that it doesn't happen, but it happens a lot less. And the same with my sexuality. I'm straight, so I don't have the intersectionality from, having a different sexual preference.
Exactly, or if you're trans, or again non-binary. Yeah?
Exactly. So I don't necessarily have the experience of it, but I have to admit that it does happen. It's got to.
Do you think maybe women not thinking that your genitalia work, or that you'd be able to have children, do you think that might come into it? Because you're a wheelchair user, so obviously, bits down there obviously can't work. Do you reckon that's a form of prejudice that you would, as you said, as someone that doesn't necessarily feel like they are, are discriminated for other identities? Do you reckon that would that be fair to say? Have you ever experienced that?
Oh, I've been asked that question many times.
Yeah.
Does it all work? Can I have kids?
Yeah.
And the answer, just throwing this out there, just in case anybody is genuinely wondering, yes and yes. However, I am not the person to have kids because I don't personally want them.
Exactly, but that's a personal choice.
Yeah, that's a personal choice. That's nothing to do with my impairment, nothing to do with any of that.
Kids are smelly, so we don't
not,
like
yeah,
it.
No.
But I suppose as well, maybe not so much now, but maybe back in the day, the man would be the breadwinner. He would be the one, the supportive, the strong kind of. I'm not saying that you're not strong, but you know what I mean?
Gym will pay off. It will.
Yeah, the gym will pay off. But you know what I mean? This image of a man bringing home the bacon, being that strong, protective person, and unfortunately, that's not the view of a man in a wheelchair. No. That's not the view. I'm not saying that's the reality.
It's not the stereotypical view.
But it's not this. Yeah, exactly. I think that would be maybe how you would experience intersectionality. I suppose for me, there's two different elements of kind of inappropriate touching. There is that sexual nature. I've been, kind of inappropriate comments being made to me about my size, or particularly when I started having like puberty, people would comment, I think because they weren't expecting me to like grow boobs, things like that. So like inappropriate comments by men, patting me on the head. I've had guys come up to me and like kind of want to give me a high five in a bar, even though I'm, getting drunk like everyone else. I'm not a child. And then I've also had incidences where I've been in a sexual experience where I've kind of been like, no, this isn't for me, and I've like even been kissing someone and like pulled away, and they've actually grabbed my wheelchair to bring me back towards them.
Wow.
So like that kind of male dominance, that would be just literally like grabbing someone and grabbing them by their arms and pulling them back in.
Yeah.
To kiss.
And I think this is a discussion worth having. I mean, it moves away from intersectionality, I will try and say that properly, a little bit, but it's the whole concept that being a wheelchair user, that wheelchair for you, whatever that may be, powered chair, manual chair, whatever, is part of your personal space.
Of course it is. It's part of you.
And a lot of, not everybody, this is never tarring anybody completely, but a lot of people don't make that association. No. Essentially touching somebody's wheelchair without permission would be like grabbing their bum without permission, or pulling their hair without permission. I'm using somewhat ridiculous examples because I'm thinking off the top of my head, but it's a case of a lot of non-disabled people don't make the association of wheelchair being personal space.
And can I also say, like, people say to me, if you've got my handbag on the back of my chair, what if you get stolen? I tell you something, if someone even lightly touches my wheelchair, that feeling ricochets through my body. So even just grabbing someone's chair, someone like me, if I've got a fracture, or if I've got backache, or if someone's got, kind of sores, like pressure sores, you even touching the wheelchair can cause pain because you can feel that movement. Would you agree, Dan?
Oh,
you can feel, like, even if someone knocks you slightly, you can feel it goes all the way through. That's why, when you're in a taxi, if you stay in your wheelchair, the taxi, there's no suspension at all, so the taxi should go relatively slowly, because you feel everything through your chair. And, I've had one incident where I was going to a meeting in central London, and the taxi driver just wasn't sure where he should drop me off. It was a very awkward space, and then we went round and round and round about 3 times, and then he eventually dropped me somewhere where he assured me that's where the building was. I'd never been there before, so I was clueless. So he kind of dropped me off at the bottom, and then I realised the door to the entrance was kind of up a hill, a little bit of a hill. I couldn't get hold of anyone who was supposed to be meeting me, so I started to make my own way up this hill. Now, I don't have the upper body strength, so for me, it wasn't the easiest thing, but it was doable. But I was going slow like a snail, but it was doable, And then all of a sudden, someone just came from behind me and grabbed me and pushing me up quite fast, actually, up the hill. So again, it scared me. I don't think his English was very good, so I couldn't even communicate with him. I didn't have my seatbelt on, so he could have tipped me out. I felt very vulnerable. I felt quite violated. But all in all, he thought he was doing me a favour.
Yeah, and, without wanting to sound like the voice of everybody just leave us alone, because it's not that case.
No, not at all.
We understand that, for example, the example that Sam just gave, that gentleman wanted to try and help.
Yeah.
However, the issue is if you were a man or a woman or however you identify, because obviously, there is more than man and woman, everybody identifies differently, whatever, and you were walking along the street as a non-disabled person and you were walking up a hill, it is essentially the equivalent of somebody walking up behind you, picking you up and carrying you. That is the non-disabled equivalent. How would you feel if somebody picked you up and carried you, just walked up behind you,
didn't say anything to you,
just swept your legs away, picked you up and walked up a hill? Now, that might be somewhat farcical and people might be laughing as they hear me say that, but that is essentially the equivalent. If you do not ask first, that is essentially what you are doing.
It is, and I think, again, I rely on people's kindness
of course,
on a daily basis, and I'm quite open to go, oi mate, will you grab me that from the top shelf. And it's not a dirty magazine, I can assure you. I get all that on the internet.
There we go.
So I...
Are you listening, men that smell good?
Exactly. Men that smell. Hey, nice smell.
I did say men that smell good.
I know. You're putting me off now, because I'm thinking of nice smelling men. Oh my gosh, you really have put me off. Well, you talk for a minute. What am I doing? That's so bad of you. You're naughty pod husband.
I've apparently got Sam all flustered.
Oh my goodness, you totally have. Oh no, so I really don't know. Carry on talking. Oh my goodness, this is going terribly, terribly wrong.
It's going terribly wrong, but terribly right at the same time.
No, exactly. No, I rely on people on a daily basis, and I think some people said to me like they've encountered some disabled people that have been quite aggressive and said no, and don't need your help, and they'd be like, oh well, I'm never going to offer help ever again. Look, there's a way of going about help, and I think sometimes non-disabled people look at disabled people and think that we're struggling or that we automatically need help just because we are doing things slightly different to how they would do it. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they need help. So if you do offer help, don't ever stop. Don't stop being a kind person, even if you have maybe had a bad experience with someone snapping at you. You know what? Not everyone will react that way to you offering help. So that's the first advice. Don't stop offering help. But if they say no, take it that they mean no. I don't mean to get like all Me Too on you or anything, but I hate it when I say, no, I'm all right, thanks. And then people insist anyway. Because it's this very ableist attitude that, again, you must be struggling because you're disabled. No, we're not. Like, the way I make a cup of tea to any onlooker, it looks probably quite dangerous and a little bit, risque because I'm balancing it on my leg and doing all sorts of things. But that's how I make a cup of tea.
It's quite theatrical, I have to say.
It is quite theatrical, but have I ever spilt a cup of tea? No, I haven't.
Not to my knowledge.
Probably because I'm northern and tea is like gold. Very, very precious.
You're just plugging for that Yorkshire tea ad.
I am. I'm Lancashire though, so it's not the right accent.
Controversial.
I know, you said something quite controversial there. And again, ask. It's like if you wanted to assist someone who's blind or with a visual impairment. When I deliver training, I always say let them take your arm because they have then control. If someone grabs you, they could lead you into a bus, and you wouldn't have any control over it. So I think just ask and don't assume that all people with disabilities are the same. So ask me how I'd like to be pushed would be very different to how Dan would want to be pushed. Because I've got brittle bones, I've got to take more into consideration when I'm going up and down curbs. Dan, to be honest, Dan, if you fell out your chair, you'd hurt yourself, but it wouldn't be the end of the world.
Yeah,
For me, it could be fatal.
Yeah, so you don't bounce like me.
Exactly. So I think just ask. Don't kind of shy away. Don't think that this is the disabled community attacking nice, genuine people. But all you need to do is ask first. I don't understand what isn't kind of clear about that. Is that not just respect for another human being?
Yeah, I think, like I say, a lot of it genuinely comes from a good place. I get that, totally do. But you wouldn't walk up to somebody that wasn't disabled in the street, randomly pick them up, unless it's you're newly married and it's your new partner and you're carrying them over the threshold.
Exactly.
Which is kind of weird anyway. But, unless you were going to do that, that's socially accepted. But you're not carrying me over a threshold. At least I don't think you are. My girlfriend might have issues with that, let alone my pod wife.
I know, right? Never mind your girlfriend, I'd be livid.
So ask first, guys. And besides, generally, people freak out when they try and push me because I've got no handles on my chair.
Ah, yes.
I have no handles on my wheelchair. So then you go to try and push me and you're like, where do I push from? You don't. That's kind of the point.
So this study, if you have got your own experiences to share, I definitely think you should check it out. So Dr. Hannah Mason Bish, double barrel name.
I'm glad you had to say that.
Yeah, and it is the Private Places, Public Spaces Research Project. If you feel brave enough to share your experience, please do so, because the more experiences and stories that are shared on this platform, hopefully it will change policy. And it will make it, kind of a recognisable criminal offence, particularly, amongst women to not touch inappropriately and safeguard, disabled women.
Yeah, I mean, and from my straight white male perspective, there's I work in professional wrestling, so I've been touched in ways that other people wouldn't even dream of. But the difference is that is consensual, and that's what it boils down to, guys and girls and everybody in between.
Exactly. So I really appreciate studies like this, because it is a taboo subject, and we are very British about things, but from the research that's already been collated, there's some really shocking stories there. So this is not these aren't isolated events. This is something that many disabled women are experiencing, so it's really important. So thanks again, Dr. Hannah.
Yes.
You are doing a fantastic job. We applaud you, and I actually need to share mine on there. See, this is what happened when I wrote it from the Metro. I shared everything on there, but I forgot to share it on the research page.
And the research page is the important one.
Yes, exactly. So I will be doing that. So anyway, that was quite an in-depth, heavy topic.
Yeah, we went from sweaty builders to that. You never know what to expect on an episode of Life Downloaded.
You really don't. So what else have we been up to?
What else have we been up to? Well, I've been redesigning my website, trying to make it look swanky. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Go on.
With my girlfriend, I baked a cake over the weekend.
Did you? Well, actually, did you just watch, or did you actually help?
I participated.
Oh, and did you find it therapeutic?
I quite enjoy baking, but I do need to be doing it with. It needs to be tag teamed.
Yeah, no, I do. I'm a very, very messy baker. I enjoy it because obviously coming from a German background, my mum is very, very good at baking.
Is she?
Yeah, well, I think it is a very German thing, because we have Kaffee and Kuchen in the afternoon, so 2:00 normally, traditionally in Germany.
Is that like the German version of afternoon tea?
Yeah, Kaffee and Kuchen. Ooh. Coffee and cake.
Coffee and cake.
And the cakes out there, the torte, are like out of this world. Like really, like they're a bit crappy here. You go to M&S, it's like you get a sloppy whatever you get.
Well,
and it costs £4. But over in Germany, because it's like a proper ritual, particularly within ladies and gentlemen of a certain age, shall we say?
Ladies that lunch.
They all go. So yeah, I'm missing that. I need to go back to Germany. So my grandma had passed away, last August. So I don't really have that many connections with Germany. But I'm thinking, Dan, of maybe taking my sister and my mum. Taking them to Germany.
Okay.
Just because, for one reason or other, I didn't go to my grandma's funeral, which still kind of haunts me a little bit today.
Yeah.
So it'd be nice to go back, because I really do. It's funny, isn't it? I was 3 months old when I moved over here, but I very much feel a real attachment to Germany. I mean, it is in my blood, obviously.
Of course.
But I do, like, there's when I go home there, which I actually call home as well, I do have 2 homes, I do get this kind of warm feeling, but I think that's because intermittently I did spend quite a lot of time when I was a child. And good, associate it with good memories, etc. So yeah, I think I might do that. So we went from cake to Germany.
Oh, but you see,
the two go hand in hand.
Indeed, and going back to cake.
Yes.
One of the reasons I talked about it is quite exciting times if you watch telly.
Oh, Bake Off.
It starts tonight.
Oh, does it?
It does.
I've never gotten into it.
Have you never gotten into the Bake Off?
No, I haven't, because I don't like shows. Not that I'm saying I will not be on a show like that, because all offers are, you know,
Stand Up to
accepted,
Cancer Bake Off. Give us a shout. We'll tag team.
I don't know, actually. I think I'd panic with that.
Would you?
Yeah, I really would. Like, I'd be horrendous, I think. It's the pressure. I can bake, but it's the pressure that would get to me.
You're a chilled out baker.
I don't like, and a messy baker, I don't like to commit to a show that kind of takes over your life. I know that you've got lots of ways of catching up on things, but do you know what I mean? Like, I just don't...
Do you think Bake Off would take over your life then?
A little bit. A little bit.
See, everybody's got those shows. What show... Because, like, you've obviously got past experience of this. I can hear it in your voice. What show took over your life?
I used to be obsessed with, like, Hollyoaks, Neighbours, and EastEnders. No, not EastEnders, Home and Away.
You're a big soap.
I used to be, and now I don't watch any.
Yeah, see, I've auditioned for the soaps, but I'm not an avid watcher of the soaps.
That's probably where we're going wrong, isn't it? Really?
Yeah. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to Bake Off. I have to say, the only problem with Bake Off is that every time I watch it, I want to eat cake.
Yeah, I think that might be
or bread,
an issue.
Or whatever week they're doing.
That might be an issue for me as well.
I want to eat cake or bread or whatever week it is on Bake Off. If they're making biscuits, I want biscuits.
Maybe I might dip my toe in this time.
Well, it starts.
I'll see.
It starts tonight.
Do you know what? The only reason I kind of regret not watching these programmes, not for the enjoyment of the programmes, but you feel a little bit like a leper. Like,
if you don't know what everybody else is talking about.
I mean, you know, I didn't watch Love Island for that reason.
I didn't watch Love Island.
And then the thing is, because now I'm doing more radio and bits and bobs and TV bits, that, you know, it's current affairs, I suppose, isn't it?
It is.
Is it popular
culture, darling?
So I feel like maybe I do. Maybe for work purposes.
Exactly, there you go.
Eat cake.
You will eat cake for work.
I thought I'd give the listeners a little bit of a Lola update. So Lola is enjoying the hot weather.
She's having a nap.
She's having a nap. Well, she's forced her to have a nap. God bless her. No,
I'd just like to point out, for those that are, you know, slightly concerned, please do not call the RSPCA house Sam.
Perfectly fine.
Because so far she said I've locked her in the room and forced her to have a nap.
She's got her poo pot in there. She's got her water and her food and all her toys. So do not worry. And I've opened a window, so she is good. Do not worry.
She's good.
She's good.
Yeah, I just realised that you were like, I've forced the cat to take a nap and locked her in a room.
Go to sleep.
So I just wanted to throw that out.
Go to sleep. Yeah, she's doing well. I am trying to train her because she started biting a little bit too much. I know she's a kitten, but I've been doing a lot of, like, you know, parenting reading, and it says that, you know, they're not really supposed to bite hands and feet because obviously that is for gentle stroking and feeding. So and she was like attacking guests and things. So,
I can vouch for this.
Yeah,
I have been Lola's climbing friend.
Kind of cute, but you don't want her to. She's tiny now, so you don't want that to escalate when she's like huge. So anyway, so I've been doing some training. She's very I mean, this is what I like about these Sphinx cats. They are highly intelligent, like to a scary degree. So she's already cottoning on, but she's kind of a little bit in a huff with me now, because now all of a sudden I always like the playful mummy, letting her do everything, and now I am the disciplinarian.
Ooh.
And now she kind of like is a bit like, screw you, mum.
Yeah.
So that makes me a bit sad.
You're essentially dealing with the cat version of a teenager.
I am, but I looked it up and she's slowly going into her teenage thing, so it might be to do with that as well.
She's got a teenage cat.
Yeah.
Player episodes of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, it'll be fine.
I know, God bless her. Anyway, I'm not going to lie, I'm sweating profusely. I think we need to end this, babes. Because I need to get naked.
Well, there's a thought. I would just like to point out to my girlfriend, Sam will get naked on her own time.
Yes, sorry. Sorry.
No, but it's all good. Once again, Sam's thrown me out. Last time it was food.
Yeah.
Now she just wants to get naked.
Yeah.
So, on that note, everybody, thank you for listening to episode 5 of Life Downloaded. Also, just before we disappear...
Not forgotten.
No, it's just something I wanted to throw out there. We have had a couple of tweets saying people have had issues with episode 4 on Spotify. I'm going to try and sort it. Haven't had a chance to look at it yet. But please do remember, you can find us on Apple Podcasts, you can find us on Deezer, Stitcher, all those kind of places. And if all else fails, head to lifedownloaded.com so you don't miss out on all the podcast fun.
No excuses.
But I will try and rap Spotify over the knuckles and say, what are you doing? People are trying to listen, you ridiculous
It's nice that people are listening.
Indeed. So thanks for letting us know that stuff was going wrong. I'm going to do my best to sort it.
Hurrah!
But this has been... Oh, what we haven't done, Sam.
Oh, what?
We haven't named this one.
Oh, I don't...
Sweaty
Men.
Sweaty Men. Are we calling it the Sweaty Men Podcast?
The Sweaty Men Podcast.
Sweaty Men Cake. Sweaty Men and Cake?
Sweaty Men and Cake.
Sweaty Men and
There
Cake.
you go.
There
Boom.
We go. Episode 5. That's what you've been listening to, everybody.
Sweaty Men and Cake.
Sweaty Men and
That's
Cake.
a good visual imagery there for you. Hurrah! Right, let's go, because I feel like I've wet my pants. Okay. Let's go.
So, this has been episode 5, Sweaty Men and Cake. I have been Dan Edge.
And I have been Samantha Rank.
This has been Life Downloaded, and we shall see you all for episode 6.
Goodbye.
See you later.